Jesus' stories. Jesus' stories. I love the parables, right? I love them because there's so much in them. It's like, I'm a storyteller, so I totally understand if you didn't know I'm a storyteller. I totally understand why Jesus used them. Because it captivates his audience, right? But then sometimes people just miss the big picture. And that's what it says. Like it was prophesied that people are going to miss the big picture in these parables. So Jesus was actually filling prophecies by using stories. And I just love the parables because I'm a storyteller. And I just think there's so much in them. So I want to talk to you all about, we all need a friend at midnight. We all need one, don't we? Just somebody who we can harass at midnight. Like I've now got my wife that I can harass at midnight and my son. But before that, I had Yod, our keys player, Ethan. And I would harass him at midnight. And it was sensational. He rarely harassed me at midnight, so it was a great relationship, I thought. But maybe not so much for him. But hey, who knows that we all need a friend at midnight? You see, Zoe needed a friend at midnight one night. She did. Our son, Nate, had just spewed all in our bed. Yeah, spewed where we sleep. Anyway, I felt this leg. Well, it was more of a foot. Connect with me. Asleep, peacefully, racking out the Z's. I think it was a weekend too, so I didn't even have an excuse to have work on tomorrow. But this is how much I can relate to some of these parables. Because she kicked me once and I was like, Ugh. I was fast asleep. Next second, another foot. Same foot, I'm guessing. It felt the same. Whack! You know what's coming next, right? Whack! Oh! What? I'm sleeping. Zoe's like, I was sleeping. She was sleeping before Nate spewed, and it was pretty much on her side. So she's like, you got two options. You look after him or you clean it up. I chose look after him, to be honest, because I could still lay in bed. So I didn't have to get up. But hey, sometimes it just takes that little bit of persistence to get your husband to do what you want them to do, right? I mean, to get a friend to do what you want them to do. Even though I love my wife and I love our relationship, our friendship wasn't going to get me out of bed unless she kicked me 3 or 4 times. I'm just being honest. I like my sleep. And yeah, but hey, we all need that friend at midnight sometimes. And we can see that in Luke 11, 5 to 10. What it says is, then teaching them more about prayer, he used this story. Suppose you went to a friend's house at midnight. I went to the friend's house. Wanting to borrow 3 loaves of bread. Because at midnight is the best time for bread, am I right? Yes. You say to him, a friend of mine has just arrived for a visit. First, why are you rocking up at midnight? If you're a friend, you rock up a bit earlier, right? Well, contextually, these guys would travel at night because it's in the desert, because it's so hot. So these guys would do all their travel, most of their traveling at night when it was cooler. So this guy's rocking up at midnight to escape the heat because he doesn't want the heat and he just wants to wake his friend up. But he's got nothing to eat when this mate visits. And suppose the neighbor calls out from his bedroom, or Jason keeps sleeping. The neighbor says, don't bother me, the door is locked for the night, and my family and I are all in bed. I can relate. I can't help you. But I tell you this, though he won't do it for friendship's sake, if you keep knocking long enough, He will get up and give you whatever you need because of your shameless persistence. And so, I tell you, keep on asking and you will receive what you ask for. Keep on seeking and you will find. Keep on knocking and the door will be open to you. For everyone who asks receives. Everyone who seeks finds. And everyone who knocks, the door will be opened. You see, Zoe just kept asking that night. She just kept asking for help. Took me a bit to wake up. I eventually helped. But you see, persistence is key. Persistence is okay. It's okay not to receive something the first time you ask for it. Because then, when would we go through a trial? And why would we need God? Sometimes our situations are put there so that we draw closer to God, not run away from Him. A lot of the times, our situations are put there so we run towards God and not away. You see, we need to learn to be persistent. There's this terminology, the fast food culture. And the fast food culture is about, I want it right now. I get it. My life is extremely busy and I eat too much takeaway. It's too much. I know it. But I get into town after work and I've got to be at church for worship practice on a Wednesday night. And a lot of the time I've got 5 minutes in between to actually eat something because I hadn't eaten something for like 6 hours most of the time. And I'm starving and I can't wait till 8:30 at the end of it because I'm still talking to Yod afterwards and it's 9:30 or 10 o'clock. And so a lot of the time, I understand this fast food concept, but what it has done to society and what it's done to a lot of young people is they want everything now. They don't want to have to work for it. But come on, some things we have to work for. How much do you really want it if you give up after the first go? I would they knew. I would try and use my parents against each other. Hey, Mum, can I go to this mate's place? Ask your father. Hey, Dad, can I go to this mate's place? No. Hey, Mum, can I go to this mate's place? And then I keep on going back and forth until I got the answer that I wanted. Persistence. But if I didn't want to really go to that mate's place, I'd probably walk straight up to Dad. Hey, Dad, I haven't done the mowing yet. Can I go to this mate's place? I know what the answer's going to be. But you see, when we ask for something, if we just drop it straight afterwards, are we actually wanting it? Like, do you actually want it if you ask God for it once and then just go, she'll be right, mate? I know that God's probably just looking at it going, why aren't you doing this a second time? Hey, just talk to me again. He wants to give us good gifts. Just talk to me again. But you see, let's talk about ask. So what are you asking for? We can see in the parable that the guy was asking for bread. Am I right? You guys were listening. Well done. The guy's asking for bread. He's going to his neighbor's place for some food. That's the specific thing that he's asking for. So what are we asking for? A lot of the time, what we ask for isn't what we need. That's fine. You can ask for guidance. Just be willing to accept what God's going to talk to you on. Because guidance is so big. Like, I've asked God for patience before. Who's been there? It's the worst thing to ask for. I hate slow drivers. If you're a slow driver, I love you. But when I'm in the car, do not get in front of me. Or what's worse for me is the ones that go to 100, then back to 80, then go up to 100, and then back to 80. I asked for patience. God put so many of those people in my life. Oh, And I was like, God, what are you doing to me? And he's like, well, you asked for it. So if anyone wants to ask for guidance, you need to be prepared to take whatever God says to you. Whatever God puts in your life. What you ask for is created. It comes to pass. It actually manifests. We can see that in Proverbs 18:21. It says, the tongue can bring death or life. Those who love to talk will reap the consequences. What that means, if you ask for it, be prepared to reap it. But what that also means is if you're gossiping, guess what you're asking for? If you're being a Karen, for those who don't know Karen, they always ask for the managers. If your name is Karen, I love you, and you're not a Karen in that perspective, but you are a Karen because that's your name. But the Karens are the ones asking for the manager, always demanding. They're always expecting something to be wrong. So they've always got a complaint to make. When we talk about asking, what is it? It's a conversation. To ask for something, we use words. Nate will just point and go, but I won't accept that because I want words. I want a conversation with my son. He is young. I'll accept it for now. But what we need to understand is that when we ask for something, it's actually every moment of our day, we're always asking for something. If you open your mouth, you're asking for something. If you're saying, oh, I'm always waiting for my Maccas, well, guess what? You're always waiting for your Maccas. God's just like, oh, okay, like, obviously you want this. But that's how it works because our words create our reality. That's what God's saying right here. Your words are going to create your reality. And what I love about 1 Thessalonians 5:17 is it says never stop praying. It's one of the shortest verses in the Bible. And that's why I love it because it's just easy to remember. But it's actually an encouragement to never stop praying. But I also see it as a warning or a heads up, not a warning, a heads up. Hey, you never stop praying. Whenever you're speaking, you're always praying because you're always in a conversation. Even if I'm just joking around with my cousin, Yoda, if I'm joking around with him that, oh, this service is so slow, I wish Pastor Jason would just hurry up. But even when I'm like that, I'm just asking for Pastor Jason to drag it out longer and longer and longer. Because what I'm speaking to my cousin is I'm actually wanting that to happen because I'm bringing a focus to it. Am I right? So whatever what are you asking for? Do you actually know what you need to ask for? Or how to ask for it? James 4:3 says, and even when you ask, you don't get it because your motives are all wrong. You want only what will give you pleasure. You see, motives, right? I can rock up to God and be like, yo, give it to me now. I personally deem that very disrespectful to God. But I know when someone's being disrespectful to me, I'm just like, no. You can go somewhere else if you want that. I don't care if it's good for them. I'm still going to be like, no. Like, fix your motive, fix your attitude before you come and talk to us. Like James is letting us know that it's not free reign to treat God however we want to treat him. We still need to ask with some respect, am I right? We need to start a conversation with the King of Kings with a bit of respect. We don't have to cower. We don't have to cower. But we have to respect. So our motives have to be right. Matthew 15:18, but the words you speak come from the heart. That's what defiles you. So really, what you're asking for is already in your heart. So I go back to Pastor Jace, the big gossip. If that's my heart, what am I asking for? Or Pastor Jace, the negative Nancy. if I'm always negative, what am I asking for? Or if Pastor Jace is being Karen and always seeking for the manager, always seeking for the worst in the situation. Come on, we've got to be careful what we're asking for. We've got to be careful what's in our heart. Because whatever is in your heart this morning, that's what you're asking for. And for me, sometimes personally, that scares me. Because sometimes my heart's not right. I'm just like, oh, I wish this would hurry up. Or I wish that person would get out of my way when I'm driving the car, obviously. But sometimes my heart's not right. And every moment of that time, I'm defiling my questions, my requests to God. And setting myself up for something not so pretty. But you see, your words have power. However, your heart controls it all. So Highway Church, we need to know this morning that our words have power. You see, in the parable, the man was asking for bread. In my little story, Zoe was asking for help. Great things to ask for. But sometimes we miss the mark with our questions, with what we're actually asking. But you know what? There's another thing. Seek. What are you looking for? You see, the scripture said, keep on seeking and you will find. So what are you seeking at the moment? What are you watching on Netflix? What are you after? What are you looking at on the internet to buy, to purchase? After a car? Well, you're seeking for a car. I'm not saying that's bad. Smoothie maker. Bingo. I love a good smoothie. Banana and mango. I'm down. But you see, like what we're seeking, we will find. When I was 17, and it's happened so many times since then, but 17 was probably the worst, I lost my wallet. I'd been downtown and with my younger sister, we'd been down and done some shopping, and I got home and it's like 2 hours later and I was going to go out to Macca's with her, and I couldn't find my wallet. And it was okay, like she's willing to pay, but I needed the ID to drive. And I couldn't find it. Anyway, we backtracked all our steps. And it wasn't until the next night, and I probably did the worst thing in the world. I didn't cancel my cards. So if somebody else had it, they would have had a great shopping spree, maybe, if they could know the PIN number. But what happened was I was looking for this pretty much non-stop. I was like, nah, it's got to be here. So I went down to the shops the next day. Oh, it's got to be here somewhere. It's got to be here. Maybe it's just on a shelf. Where did we go? Here, 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 and here. Looking everywhere. I got home. What did we do when we got home? Oh, we watched a movie. In between the couch. You know that good one? My wallet. But you see, when you seek, you will find. When you keep on looking for something, you're going to find what you're looking for. You will be. You will find what you're looking for. Scripturally, keep on seeking and you will find. But what are you seeking for? That's the question. You see, I love what Albert Einstein says here. If I were given 1 hour to save the planet, I would spend 59 minutes defining the problem and 1 minute resolving it. Church, sometimes we spend too long feeling we know what to look for. We know how to fix the problem, yet we're running the wrong direction because we don't even really understand what the problem is. So sometimes we're seeking for the wrong thing to make our situation right. Sometimes we need to spend a little bit more time on what our actual problem is, rather than running to the solution, running to the fix, because we know best. That's this guy. I know the solution to everyone's situation before they've even spoken sometimes. I really don't, but that's what I think. And if I was to step out in that, I'm going to send people on wild goose chases. I'm going to make it like the Amazing Race all over the world, because wouldn't it just be easier to find the finish line first instead of doing the whole trip around? Like, I'm seeking the finish line, not the next step. But sometimes we need the next step instead of the finish line. You see, what are you seeking? Have you already made your mind up that, hey, this is what's wrong, without consulting God? Don't answer that. That can be incriminating. But it's possible. But sometimes we can even just be looking for the wrong thing. Like, we could be looking for fame. We could be looking for money. We could be looking for time. Or like the parable, we could be looking for bread. You see, what is it that you're looking for today? What is it that you're after? I'm not saying that there's anything wrong to these things, because sometimes searching for fame, I want to be famous so I can bring more of light on God. But hey, am I looking for fame or am I looking for God? I could be going, hey, I want to spend more money. I want to give more money to the kingdom. So I'm after money. I'm not saying that I'm after any of these, okay? This is just hypotheticals. But if I'm focused on money, if I'm looking and seeking for money, my intention could be to give it to the kingdom. But should I really be focusing on money? This one's me. If I'm looking for more time to serve, to use to serve, to love on young people, to raise up young people, if I'm looking for more time, should I be after time or Jesus? I'm not saying there's wrong intention with going after fame, money, and time. But sometimes we got to look for the bread. Sometimes we got to go after the bread. And then all and everything else will fall into line. You see, too many times we can focus on the wrong thing, not knowing the actual solution to our issue. Hey, if I had a bit more fame, I could get Jesus' name a bit out there. Hey, if I had a bit more money, I could build the kingdom of heaven. Hey, if I had a bit more time, I could do more for Jesus. All true. But hey, what should be your focus in that? We were talking about, Tim brought an excellent focus straight up this morning. Hey, in the small, the mustard seed grows into the biggest tree. And that's the kingdom of God. It's always growing. It's always multiplying. But sometimes we can lose the focus on the kingdom and put it on the world to try and excel the kingdom. It's not smart. It's not where I want to be in 2022. That's what I'm saying anyway. It can all look like good intentions, but hey, we need to focus on the bread. John 6:35. Jesus replied, I am the bread of life. This is what I'm talking about, the bread, just so everyone's caught up. Whoever comes to me will never be hungry again. Whoever believes in me will never be thirsty. You see, Jesus has all we need. He's the bread of life. He should be our focus. He should be what we're looking for, what we're seeking after. He should be the number one. You see, when we look for Jesus and find him, we never have to look for anything else again because it's all in him. Hear me right. Sometimes we still need to look again for Jesus because sometimes we can walk away, am I right? But when we find Jesus, we've found all we need. Because his plans are better than mine. I could want fame, but hey, that might not be his plan for me. I could ask for it and still receive it, but it could come negatively. Like I've seen so many people get fame negatively because of actions that they've partaken in life. Like I can think of so many sporting people who have had so much negative media because of mistakes that they've made, but have they not got famous? So what we're seeking for really matters. See, if we seek for the fame, we could get it either way. If we seek for Jesus, we'll get whatever he wants for us. And it's not, if you're seeking for Jesus, it's not going to be negative fame. It's going to be something that excels the kingdom, not you. Disclaimer. It excels the kingdom and not you. But come on, Jesus spoke about another thing, and that's knock. So we've done ask, we've spoken about seeking, and now we're at the door and knocking. You see, what I love about the parable is that the man was asking for bread, yet Jesus is the bread of life. And the neighbor yelled out that the door is locked. But you see, for the door to be locked, let's go to John 10:9. It says in John 10:9 that I am the door. If anyone enters by me, he will be saved and will go in and out and find pasture. You see, even though that door was locked, this is why Jesus is talking about persistence. It's never going to stay locked. Keep on knocking and that door will be opened. So if you keep on knocking on the door of fame, it will be opened, whether positive or negative behind the door. If you keep on knocking on the door of money, what other expenses are going out of your life? Because for money, you need to be doing more. Something's going to lose out. If you're knocking on the door of time, then something's going to lose out in your life. But you know what? I want to even focus on religion. Because I don't have a really good thing with religion. What I want to say about religion is religion to me is the boxes that people tick. Say that, yeah, we partake or we join together in communion this morning. Check. Oh, I gave this morning because you know what? That's what I do. Check. Hey, you're just knocking on the door to religion this morning. Never make Jesus about a box to tick, a T to cross, or an I to dot. Jesus isn't about that. Jesus is about the heart. But you see, so many times we can get caught up in that box to tick and lose our focus on what really matters, on Jesus. You see, there was one day that I was going down to Melbourne to see a mate. And I knocked on the door. And when I opened that door, there was a guy there, dressed as a girl. I was like, this is the wrong door I'm knocking on. It was the right door. But I can remember another time that a mate told me where he was at college, at uni, where he was staying. And he sent me down to like the next door neighbor's place and just wanted to watch me. This isn't the right place. You see, I've been sent to the wrong door. I thought that I was going to the right door. I've got too many stories about these doors, don't I? I thought I was going to the right door when I was visiting my sister in college. And there was multiple blocks in the women's college campus. And I went to the wrong block and knocked on the right door. But it was the wrong door because it was the wrong block. And I was like, you're not my sister. Hey sis, where are you? But hey, so many times we can knock on the wrong door, feeling like we're knocking on the right door, and get the result that we're not looking for. So many times we can lose out because we knocked on the wrong door continually and we don't like what we see there anymore. You see, when we knock, we want the attention of the doorkeeper. That's what we want. You want who's behind that door to open it up, am I right? Whether it's a friend or a foe or just a neighbor, just a neutral person. Hey, I know we're called to love everyone, but sometimes I just don't get along with people. I'm still going to love them, 100%. But sometimes I knock on the wrong door. And I know sometimes you knock on the wrong door, but come on, whose attention are you seeking this morning? Are you seeking the attention of the world, or are you seeking the attention of Jesus Christ, the one who died on the cross for you and I, the one, the Alpha and the Omega, the one that can make all things right because he overcame this world? Come on. Which door are you knocking on? Wrong door. Jesus. Come on, we got to knock on Jesus' door this morning. We got to praise Jesus for all he's done. We've got to thank Jesus for all he's done. See, it could be the door of money, of recognition, of fame, whatever it is, to be noticed, even with the good intention to give it to God, still can be the wrong door because it's not Jesus. I love the NLT, but sometimes the message just does it for me. Luke 11, 10 to 13. This is the end of it. Don't bargain with God. Hey, God, I'm going to give you a little bit more time if you just do this for me. If you ain't given him the time already, you're not going to if he does that for you. I can tell you that because that's this guy. So come on, let's not bargain with God anymore. If you do this, I will do this. Come on, let's just do what we're saying we're going to do. Be direct. Oh, I love it when I'm direct. You know what? No, I'm not sorry. I was going to say sorry if this is too direct, but I'm not. Because, hey, we need to be direct. We need to stop bargaining with God. We need to be direct with him. Ask for what you need. This is not a cat and mouse hide and seek game we're in. Come on, it's not. If you're playing cat and mouse with God or hide and seek, it's not where we're at. I want nothing else but Jesus. I love my family. And my wife knows this. And I know her number one. It's not each other. I'm not her number one. God is. Just like she's not my number one. God is. She's a very close second. But come on, we need to put our priorities in place. Don't bargain with God. Be direct. Ask for what you need. This is not a cat and mouse hide and seek game we're in. If your little boy asks for a serving of fish, do you scare him with a live snake on his plate? I don't. If your little girl asks for an egg, do you trick her with a spider? No thanks. As bad as you are, oof. Highway Church, as bad as we are, I can take that. As bad as you are, you wouldn't think of such a thing. You're at least decent to your own children. And don't you think the Father who conceived you in love will give you the Holy Spirit when you ask for him? Someone needs to hear that the best place for bread is the door. The door is the best place for bread this morning. What is it that you're after? What are you seeking for today? Do you need to realign? Do you need to have another look at your issues, your problems, your situations? Do you need to realign with what God's doing in your life? Come on, we need to be direct. But what that means is we need to be honest with ourselves as well. We can't keep lying to ourselves. I'm good. If I just had some more money, no. If you just had more Jesus. If there was just a different focus in my life, yeah, that's right, on Jesus. Come on, the door. So what that means, the door is the best place to go for bread. The door is Jesus Christ, right? He says, I am the door. The bread, wait for it, it's Jesus Christ. Come on, the best place for you to go for Jesus is Jesus. The best place for you to go is His presence. The best place for you to go is with Him. Come on, He's not annoyed when we knock on His door at midnight. I can't speak for Him, but the parable says that the door was locked at midnight. And this is what Jesus is talking about. He's saying, you come to me and I'll give you me. But hey, sometimes that door might be locked. But persist. Keep on asking. Sometimes I don't feel the Holy Spirit's presence when I first ask. Do I stop? No. I keep on asking. I keep on persisting. I keep on stepping even though it's midnight. Come on, Paul and Silas worship the King of Kings at midnight. It was the end of something and the beginning of the next. Come on, whatever your midnight looks like, we need to just worship Him. Wherever you're at right now, if you're at midnight point, come on, press in. Make room so He can move. Get out the way. Get out of the way of what Jesus wants to do in your life. So let's be mindful this week of what we're asking for. Actually, this year. Come on, let's be mindful of what we're asking for. Are you asking for the bread or are you asking for something else? Come on, let's be mindful of what we're looking for, what we're seeking after, because you're going to find it. And let's be mindful of what door we're knocking on. But right now, we're going to sing, so let's everyone stand. Maybe, maybe not. That's fine. Well, we can do the maybe not because I just feel God going a different direction anyway. Hey, I just got a feeling some people just want to realign this morning with God. Maybe it's for the first time ever. Maybe you've done this 1,000 times before. But I just have a feeling that people want to realign with God this morning. So if we can just have eyes closed or just looking down for the moment, just to respect some other people that it might be a bit embarrassing. But come on, if that's you this morning, I just want you to raise your hand. If you want to realign with God, if you want to start asking and seeking and knocking in the right direction, I see that hand. 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 Come on, if you want more of Jesus in your life, if you want to say, yes, come on, God died on the cross for me. I'm giving it all to you, Jesus. If that's you this morning, just give me a wave. I see those hands. You can put them down. Come on, we're going to say a prayer. You can repeat after me. Dear Jesus, I believe in you. Thank you for forgiving me. Come into my life and I will follow you. Amen. Come on, it's so good. There is a celebration, as we heard this morning. One of the first things that there's a celebration when we come back to the King of Kings, am I right? When we realign with what He's doing in our lives, there's a celebration. Come on, let's just get ready to sing.
Here is
Come on, let's surrender.
And I will make room for you to do whatever you want to do whatever you want to. And I will make room for you to do whatever you want to do whatever you want to. Here is where I lay it down, every burden, every crown. This is my surrender. This is my surrender. Here is where I lay it down, every lie and every doubt. This is my surrender. Oh, I will make room for you to do whatever you want to do whatever you want to. I will make room for you to do whatever you want to do whatever you want to. Oh, I will make room for you to do whatever you want to do whatever you want to. And I will make room for you to do whatever you want to do whatever you want to. Jesus, shake out the ground for all my tradition, break down the walls and for my religion. Your way is better. Come on, see that. Your way is better. Shake up the ground for my tradition, break down the walls and for my religion. Your way is better. Your way is better. Shake up the ground for my traditions, break down the walls for my religion. Your way is better. Your way is better. Shake up the ground for my tradition, break down the walls for my religion. Your way is better. Your way is better. I will make room for you to do whatever you want to do whatever you want to. And I will make room for you to do whatever you want to do whatever you want to. Here is where I lay it down. You are all I'm chasing now. This is my surrender. This is my surrender. This is where I lay it down. You are all I'm chasing now. This is my surrender. This is my surrender.
Come on, Highway Church. There's only one thing that I want to be chasing in 2022. There's only one thing that I want to be asking, seeking and knocking in 2022. Come on, let's go for more of the bread and the door. Let's go for more of Jesus this year. Hey, we've loved hanging out with you this morning, and we just want to connect. we want to hang out with you a little bit more in Highway Church Part 2. So come and join us, hang out with us. We got some coffee, we got some of that happening. If you're a visitor with us today, then hey, we want to shout you, we want to love on you. And if you want some prayer this morning, the prayer team's going to be down the front, and we want to stand with you. We want to pray with you and for you. But as we heard, be prepared to receive what you're asking for. So have an amazing week. We love you, and we'll see you out in the cafe shortly.